Yo, what is up everybody? Jumpin here, and today I'm going to be doing something incredibly stupid. I'm going to be doing a New Game Plus run. No bonfires, no deaths. Oh, this is gonna suck. But let's do it. Now this is going to be a post commentary. I'm not going to be doing these live. Reason why is because the last thing I want to do is to be talking and distract myself and then get killed. So I'm gonna do all these post-com, and when I play I'm gonna try to focus as much as possible. Now this is not gonna be a speed run, but it kinda is, because I don't want to die and I can't use any of the bonfires, and that is gonna really suck. So because of the fact that I cannot use the bonfires and I don't want to die, I'm going to try to beat the game as quickly as possible. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to get as many souls as possible so I can skip a lot of the game. If you guys don't know, on normal new game, if you can get a 1 million soul memory, you can go directly to the castle. So what people have been talking about is, why not, for a speed run, farm the rotten by burning bonfire aesthetics, because each time you kill them you get a lot of souls. Now I can't do that because guess what? I can't use the bonfire, so it's going to suck really bad. But I think I can still manage it if I can just kill enough enemies. There's a lot of things, if you want to attempt to try to do this run, there's a lot of things you can do before you start it. What I recommend doing is to keep all your boss souls and all your souls. I'm talking about every consumable that you get on New Game before you attempt this run. And I do recommend trying this on New Game Plus. That way you already can establish your weapon, your spells, whatever you might need. And if you just conserve all the things throughout the game, you should have no problem. Now I didn't do that for this run. I never thought I was going to do it. But if you were to just, let's say, never use any herbs, never use any divine blessings, never use any mushrooms, no old radiant life gems, and just buy a whole bunch of repair powders before you start and save all your consumables, this run will be 100 times easier for you. Now, I have quite a few radiant life gems. I have 24. I also have like 33 Elizabeth mushrooms. I just bought every single one that I could get, and I farmed a couple. And I think I have about 20 divine blessings. Now when it comes to the herbs, I'm kind of low on those, but I think I can manage it. The reason why the herbs are going to come so important for this run is because when you think about it, if you can't use the bonfire, that means two things when it comes to spells. First of all, you cannot attune your magic. So whatever you go into New Game Plus with is what you're going to keep. I also recommend wearing this armor. You can kill the merchant, the armor merchant, to get it. Also use the silver serpent ring. I went ahead and I got the +2 version by burning a bonfire aesthetic before I went to New Game Plus. That way it should be a lot easier to get these souls that I need. Now, like I was saying, because you cannot rest at the bonfire, you cannot restore your spells, and you cannot change your spells. So whatever spells you might want to use for your run, I'm using sorcery. I think sorcery would be your best bet. That way you can use Crystal Soul Spear, and you can also use Soul Geyser. Now the thing about these two spells is that they're incredibly powerful, and they will help you with this run. The big problem is that if you want multiple copies of them, you're going to have to burn bonfire aesthetics on New Game. Now to get Soul Geyser, you have to burn a bonfire aesthetic by the Guardian Dragon. So when I get there, that's going to be really challenging. And I'm definitely afraid to face that because I was farming for the Monastery set. Now right here, I'm cheesing the Dragon Rider. This is extremely easy to do. All you got to do is let him get to the very edge. See the circle? Once his foot touches the edge of the circle, you run right past him. You don't want to run behind him, you want to run in front of him, and he'll lunge right off the map. It is absolutely hilarious. Now you want to talk to this girl so she will go back to the village. So just talk to her over and over again until she repeats herself. and then you can go ahead and use your Age Feather. Now the thing about this run, if you're going to try to do the no bonfire run, it's okay to light the bonfires. You can also light and use the primal bonfires. So keep that in mind. So what I recommend to do is to light the bonfire in the town. That way every time we use this feather, we're going to be able to go directly back to the town. Now we need to go and fight the last giant and the pursuer. We're going to do them both right away. That way we can go and fight the Lost Center. That's going to be my first actual boss of the game, or Great Soul, or whatever. Now, I really can skip a lot. I don't have to fight the giant spider. I really don't want to, because, see, what I did was I fought the giant spider multiple times. That's why I have 3 copies of Crystal Soul Spear. I also went ahead and fought it so I can get the Moonlight Greatsword, which I'm not using. So I kind of regret doing that, because that area will be extremely difficult for me to go back to. So I want to skip the spider at all costs, because that will be the one place where I will definitely die. And if I die, it's going to really suck, because guess what? I'm going to have to go all the way back to the town, and I don't want that to happen at all. So I'm going to try to skip the spider. The most challenging thing about this run for me is going to be the Guardian Dragon, only because I messed up. Well, I didn't really mess up. I mean, I was farming for the monastery set, so my bonfire intensity in that area is going to be insane. That Guardian Dragon will probably one-shot me, and the enemies will probably one-shot me, so I have to be extremely careful when I get there. But honestly, the Guardian Dragon's a joke. With Soul Geyser, you can take it out in about 2 to 3 Soul Geysers, depending on your difficulty. Alright, so we're just going to run over to the Forest of the Fallen Giants, and we're just going to run past most of the enemies. These enemies are really not worth killing. They're not worth a lot of souls. If you want, you can farm some of the enemies if you think that might help you. But like I said, if you really just bring over a lot of consumables, that is really what's going to do it. Because if you don't use any of your consumables on New Game, when you go to New Game Plus, that's like 1,000,000 souls right there. Now, on New Game, it requires 1,000,000 souls to open the door without actually killing all the Great Souls. Now, here's the thing. On New Game Plus, it requires 2,000,000 souls to open the door. So that is what you're going to need to do. You need to basically get 2,000,000 souls. So we need to fight enough bosses so that we can do that. And because we can't burn any bonfire aesthetics, we're just going to have to go through the game and fight whoever we can to try to get the souls. I have quite a bit of consumables, but I don't have nearly as much as I wish I did. Because if I had about 1,000,000 in consumables, this run would be done very quickly. Because you just go to the castle, you complete the castle, you go to the lake, you complete the lake. And then once you're done with that, you go to the crypt, you complete that area, you get the symbol of the king, then you can go and, well, talk to the dragon. Once you talk to the dragon, you get the one thing, then you go fight the giant lord. After the giant lord, you go beat the game. I mean, that's literally as simple as it can be. You can do this in a matter of probably like a couple hours at the most. And the chance of dying would be, you know, really dramatically decreased if you are beating the game really quickly. Now right here, I'm just fighting the pursuer here because he's really easy. I mean, you could wait and then fight him and parry him and use the giant crossbow. That's fine too, but he's so easy I just decided, let me just kill him now. But he is worth quite a bit of souls, like 44,000, so I do recommend killing him. Now it's up to you if you want to kill this turtle or not. I actually recommend running past him, because you really don't want to take any chances, and you really don't want to use your spells, because I'm going to go ahead and kill one of these guys for sure. Probably kill the other one as well, because these guys will hit you in the back as you're trying to go through the fog gate, and if they hit you, then they're going to stop you from being able to go through it. You could always lure them away and then go through it, but I just say kill them, get it over with. Now I'm going to open up this shortcut. I don't know why I'm doing this. There's really no reason to open this. We will never come back through this area. But we need to basically now take the elevator down and go fight the last giant, which is a total joke of a boss. I mean, super easy. Now these dust herbs will restore, I believe, about 90% of your spells. So we're going to have to use these if you want to get your spells back for the run. Now I wish I had more. You can get, I believe, about maybe 30 to 35 per playthrough. If you farm certain areas, you can probably get more. But I've used a lot of them helping my friends beat the ancient dragon, just doing a whole bunch of stuff. So because of that, like, I don't have as many as I wish I had. I only have like 10, and that's just lame. But 3 soul geysers will do it. Basically took them out, no problem. Now we can go ahead and get the hell out of here. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take the elevator back up, and we're going to run past the area where the pursuer would have been. So it's not going to take us that long to run up there and get there. You got to watch out though, there is a red phantom that will spawn on New Game Plus. So you don't want to get backstabbed or anything like that. But if you're quick enough, you should be able to get past it, no problem. I do not recommend fighting this red phantom. It's going to take a lot to kill it. All the red phantoms have insane amounts of health. Alright, but open this door and then go ahead and just get on through it real quick and run right past all the enemies. You'll probably get hit there. I always get hit there. It's hard to avoid that halberd. Now we can go ahead and run past this area, and we're going to go to where the bird's nest is. And by doing that, that's going to take us to the next area where we can fight the rune sentinels. After we fight them, we can go and fight the lost center. And like I said, that's going to be our very first great soul. And that will probably be the most challenging part of this run, or one of the most challenging parts, because the lost center is no joke on New Game Plus. I mean, she really is a pain in the ass. One of the reasons is because she'll spawn some pyromancers on New Game Plus, but they are really easy to kill. So I'm going to try to show you how you can go about doing it. Now I highly recommend playing offline, because you do not want to get invaded. I mean, if you get invaded, the only thing you could really do is to start a party to try to get the invader out of your world, or to maybe just, I don't know, turn your console off, or whatever it takes. But if you get invaded, man, it's going to be a pain. I recommend talking to her until she repeats herself, because we're going to use her to help us with the Lost Center. But I'm playing offline because I don't want to take that chance. I really don't want somebody to come into my world and kill me. And the chances of someone coming in on New Game Plus is very high. So keep that in mind, guys. Alright, so we're just going to run past most of these enemies here. I'm not going to worry about Micdoff or anything like that. I'm just going to run past all these enemies. And then when we get up to the top, we're just going to kill the enemies. And then kind of take our little sweet time buffing our weapon and stuff. Because the rune sentinels are super easy. Especially if you're using sorceries like I am. Now, I think what would be best, if you're not that confident, I really think that it's super easy to do the no bonfire run. Because if you just follow this guide, the no bonfire run will be absolutely easy. But the no death part, that's the part that is a little tricky. Now, if you guys don't know, you do get a reward for doing this. If you do the no bonfire run, you're going to get a ring that will turn your right weapon invisible. If you do the no death run, you're going to get another ring that will turn your left hand invisible. So, I mean, it's a really cool thing that you can do. I don't know why I'm doing both at once. That's because I'm an idiot and I said I would do it. Really, I made that video and I said in the video, did you guys want to see this challenge? And it seems like everybody was split. Some people wanted to see no death, some people wanted to see no bonfire. So I said, fuck it, we're just going to do both. Now, as you can tell, this is extremely easy if you do this. You just wait for these things to come up. When they come up, you hit them with Soul Geyser. You can hit them with Crystal Soul Spear, and then just poke them a couple times. By the way, the weapon I'm using is the Espada Rapier. This rapier is so good. It's my new favorite weapon in the game. The way you get it is after you beat all the bosses, or at least the final boss of the game, you go and talk to that ghost in the castle, and he will give you this rapier, and he will give you a dagger. This rapier is super, super good though. I like the rapiers in general. They are absolutely amazing in this game. They were amazing in the last game as well. But for PvP, this thing is super good because it's really fast, it does a lot of damage, and if you buff it with either Resonant Weapon, Crystal Magic Weapon, Sunlight Weapon, or whatever, Sunlight Blade, not weapon. It's confusing. But anyway, if you buff this weapon and you infuse it as well, oh man, it does about 500 to 600 damage. And when you hit somebody, you'll probably stun them. And so you can rack up damage so fast. 4 hits with this thing is like 2,000 something damage. You'll destroy people because you'll probably stun them. And I'm talking about you can get about 2,000 damage, 4 hits, in probably about 2 seconds. I mean, DPS wise, this thing is amazing. I absolutely love it. I've changed my Resonant Weapon build. I was using the Chaos Blade. Now I've changed over to this. So what I did, if you guys are curious, because I made my build video, I was thinking about doing an update. But I was thinking, let me just wait for my live stream or something to talk about it. But I lowered my dex down to 18, so I was able to save 7 points. And what I did was I went ahead and I put the points into my intelligence, and I think I got my intelligence up to 23. And one thing I like about this weapon as well is that it has a really low weight. It only weighs 2, so I lowered down my vitality as well. So my intelligence and faith now are basically equal. That's what I really did with that build. See, the way that dark scales, it actually scales off the lowest between intelligence and faith. So if it's equal, it's a lot better. It's kind of like Mundane in a way, because Mundane scales off of intelligence, faith, strength, and dex. And I've talked about this before, but just to clarify again, I made a mistake in my video where I talked about Mundane. Remember, it's just strength, intelligence, dexterity, and faith. So you can have like a lot of health, a lot of endurance if you want, and as long as the attacking attributes are equal, that's what matters. Alright, now we're going down to where the Lost Center is. I actually recommend killing the enemies down here because I really want her alive for this fight. It's going to make it a lot easier. It doesn't matter if she survives or not. What matters is that she's going to play a distraction. I mean, look at the damage these enemies can do. It is a freaking nightmare, that's for sure. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and cast some spells at this thing. Now, these things are actually really resistant to magic, so keep that in mind. But I do think it's worth casting the spells because you want to kill them as quickly as possible. And you want to not get close because they do a lot of damage to you. So just use the NPC, let her get in close, and distract it. And she hits pretty hard. I mean, she's hitting it almost for 500, so that's pretty good. Avoid that tail attack at all costs. That will probably one-shot you if it hits you. Remember, you don't want to die, but like I said, if you think that, hey, I just want to do the no bonfire run, because the reward is the better one. I mean, I want to make my right weapon invisible. I don't care about my left weapon. Although, it would be kind of cool because then you could make like your chime or your catalyst, whatever. You can actually make it invisible. I mean, for PvP, that would be kind of interesting. Now, that was pretty funny how she's getting fucked up. She could not get the hit in. She was trying and trying and trying, but she couldn't do it. Watch out for this enemy on the right. Take that enemy out. And let's go ahead and heal. You can use your normal radiant gems. I like to use them when I get about, I don't know, 80% down. Now what you want to do is hop down and open this gate. Now a whole bunch of these suiciders are going to come out. So it's up to you if you want to take them out or not. Unfortunately, your NPC might get killed right here if you don't try to help her. Now I get blown up, and that was like the worst thing that could happen because I don't want to risk dying. So I'm just going to run away. And because I'm running away, my NPC, well, she's going to take a lot of damage. So that's going to suck because she doesn't heal herself. Some of the NPCs will heal themselves. I don't know why she doesn't. It's kind of lame that she doesn't. But I'm going to let her catch up. But she's at extremely low health, so she'll probably get wrecked in this fight. But like I said, use her as a distraction. Don't try to keep her alive. It doesn't really matter. If you want to try to go for that achievement or something, do it on New Game. It's really easy if you just burn Bonfire aesthetics. Alright, let's go ahead and go on through and fight the Lost Center. Now, because we haven't fought the gargoyles, and we're not going to, we can't actually light the torches and stuff so that we can lock onto her from a further distance. But Soul Geyser will do a lot of damage to her if you can hit her. Unfortunately, Soul Geyser is pretty inaccurate. I definitely like Crystal Soul Spear better for fighting her because you're able to just use it better and hit her. She will hit you pretty hard. You remember, they nerfed her, but, you know, she still does hit pretty hard. Now, you want to save your potions, though. I mean, I just used one, and I thought it was a good idea to use it there. But remember, because we're not resting at the bonfires, you're only going to get 12 for the entire run. I'm going to go and help her out real quick, kill the other red phantom. Those pyromancers will fuck you up. They have like Forbidden Sun and crap. Now this really sucks. I'm low health. I don't want to get hit. She's coming after me again, so I'm like, oh shit. Luckily she missed, so I'm just going to run away, heal one more time. And I'm pretty sure the NPC, yep, NPC is dead. Alright, so all we gotta do is hit her a couple times. I don't really even want to use a spell on her. I'm just going to go ahead and melee her. Honestly, if you want to use a spell on her though, go for it. Like I said, it really all depends on how many Crimson Waters and herbs and stuff you have, because if you have a lot of those, yeah, you can spam your spells all you want. I don't have that many, because I wasn't really planning on doing this run. If I could go back and decide, you know, hey, I want to do this run, I would have not have used any of them throughout New Game. Now, one thing that is worth mentioning is that these rings are tradable. So you can give these rings away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give the rings to my friend, and then he's going to give it to me on my main profile, because this is really not going to be my main file. So maybe I'll duplicate it or something, who knows. If you guys might want to get them from me, I might be willing to give them out. But we'll have to see if I can complete the run or not. Alright guys, well I really hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, will you please like and favorite the video for me? I always appreciate that. And I would also really appreciate it if you would subscribe. That really helps me out a lot. I hope you guys have a nice day, and peace out.